What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and the purpose of this video is to discuss when alt season. When alt season, C-Zar. When are alts going to move? Bitcoin's at new all-time highs. How come my highly anticipated coin is not moving? It was supposed to do 100x by now. What's going on? We're going to go over that and maybe some more. If that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. Okay, so in order to understand what's ahead of us, I think we should look at what has happened to us already. You can see here that I have a normal chart, right? We're on the weekly time frame, and this is the Bitcoin chart, BTC USD. But this red line here, while it looks very similar to Bitcoin, it's a little bit different. Some discernible differences, right? I hope you can see. This is the total 3 chart excluding stable coins. In other words, it's like our altcoin market cap. Okay, it's the total. For those of you that don't know, total 3. ES, yeah, that's what it says. Crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin, ETH, and stablecoins. Maybe we can look at this too. Compare it to BTC like that. Yeah, that might help us. Let's do that actually. Total 3. Let's do that. That'll be fun too. That'll definitely be a good chart. When this starts to move up, that's when alt season. Okay. We go back in time, and you can see here Bitcoin found its low. It found its low over here, but it found another low right here, and it started to move up. What were altcoins doing in that time? They were consolidating still. Altcoins started to move up when? After Bitcoin started to consolidate, right? And then Bitcoin runs and altcoins run together. That's great. That's nice. And they both consolidate together. Who runs first? Bitcoin. Bitcoin runs first while the rest of the market's consolidating. And then whenever Bitcoin's at a part that it's going to consolidate, that's when altcoins rally a little bit more, right? What happens is, and we can go through this whole chart and see this, right, time and time again, Bitcoin moves first, right? It's consolidating here in this range, and then it moves. It moves right here. This is when it breaks out. Right there. Altcoins are moving up a little bit, but they have their breakout more or less right here. I suppose you're moving up in tandem right there. That's kind of actually a good example of moving up in tandem, but relative to the chart, it looks like Bitcoin had a bigger breakout. COVID crash, of course, they top off at the same time. But then we're looking at this here. Bitcoin starts to rally. It's running, right? Where's my alt season? How come we're at new highs that we haven't seen in a long time? Over here, we're at new highs, but the altcoin chart is not moving up. And then altcoins move up. So Bitcoin moves up first, then altcoins. That's typically how it is. What I will say, and it goes against the grain of what we've gone over so far in this discussion, is that this cycle, Bitcoin seems to move up with altcoins. Altcoins and Bitcoin, they seem to move up together, actually. They all seem to move at the same time. And we look here, Bitcoin's at new all-time highs. It might not feel like the altcoin markets are pumping, but if we look at the total 3 chart, which excludes Bitcoin and Ethereum and stablecoins, total 3 ES, if we look at this chart, we're moving up. We're not at new all-time highs like Bitcoin just did today. But what we're about to do is break out to new all-time highs. Look at this area that we found resistance on back here in November of 2021. And again in November of 2024. What do you think is next? Hold on, guys. Oh, I have an upset stomach, you guys. It's not good. Oof. No. Oh, man. You would think like a cough is worse for talking. I'll talk with my scratchy voice sometimes. I'll do that. But, man, with the stomach, it's bad. It is really bad. Oh, okay. This is breaking out. Bitcoin's breaking out right now. Bitcoin's breaking out first. What's going to come next? When altcoins move up, are they going to move up like this and then they're done? Or do you think this is just the beginning of an overall breakout across the board? See, what I'm seeing here when we compare Bitcoin to these altcoins is that while Bitcoin's breaking out to new all-time highs, alt season is right around the corner, and it will truly be alt season because at this point, we're going to be breaking out of this area that's been holding us down for multiple years in a row now, right? Several years in a row, since the last bull market high. If everything in the market is seeing new all-time highs, at least on average, if the top 5 coins, the top 10 coins are seeing new all-time highs, at least on average, you got to think that that's going to be very beneficial for the altcoins. And it might not be all at once, right? Even if this is breaking out, not every coin is going to pump. Each week, there's going to be new hot craze coins, right? Every single cycle, if we go back in time, and what do I know? This is my 3rd bull market in my own experience, so I don't have every cycle down. but really since altcoins have been around, I've been around also. Every single cycle, what happens is everything in the altcoin markets moves up. Everything moves up. But week after week after week after week after week, there are different shining stars. There will be one coin or maybe 5 coins that stand out. I drew a football. It's Football Sunday. There will be a coin or like 5 coins that stand out across the rest, right? Like last cycle, it was Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, right? Solana, they'll stand out against the rest of them. But everything's going to pump, and then week after week, week by week, everything's going to have their shining moment. So everything's going to move up 4 or 5% a day, whatever. 2%, 3% a day. 20% a week, whatever. And then there will be some coins, maybe like a quarter of the market or a tenth of the market, that move up 20% a day or 30% a day. They're moving up hundreds of percent that week. And then the next week they'll correct while the rest of the market keeps going. And then there'll be a new class that does this, right? They all kind of cycle. And it's actually really important. I'm glad that we're talking about this right now, because it's really important to understand that. Because if you're holding 10 coins and you think just because the first week alt season begins, your coin is not performing at maximum capacity, so therefore it's a piece of crap, you're wrong. The coins that pump in the first week of alt season or the second week or the third week, they might not even outperform the coins that pump in the fourth week. You don't know. And everything will be pumping at this time, but the ones that really stand out, they take their turns. You'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. They all take their turns. We'll be able to identify them easily, right? This is my 3rd cycle. I've seen this happen plenty of times. And then also probably like 3 or 4 weeks in, we'll heavily understand who the breadwinners are in this cycle. Absolutely, we will. I want to look at this chart now, which is similar in concept to what we've just done here, right? Comparing this chart to BTC, but here we throw it together. In fact, let's overlay this. Let's overlay this with the chart we were just looking at over here. Let's overlay this. Let's put this on here as well. New price scale. And we'll zoom out. We'll zoom out. Okay. So notice, come on now. I want to get this, hold on. Let me shrink this down. There we go. So it's all on one screen. Notice how when we're at a low point here in this chart, altcoins rally. Altcoins rally. When we're at a low point here in this chart, altcoins rally. Do you guys notice a point of which might be low that we have just seen back in July of this year? Right? The low points of the last 2 cycles, what coincides with that, right? Right here on this chart, which is the ratio total, it's the same thing as this chart here. It's the same thing as this red one here. This chart is. But now, instead of priced in dollars, it's priced in Bitcoins. We compare it to Bitcoin. Or actually, I think it's Bitcoin's market cap, not priced in Bitcoin, Bitcoin's market cap. So it's the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum and stablecoins, compared to Bitcoin's market cap. Where the red is the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoins, but it's in the US dollar price. Okay, this is clear. When alt season is going on, this means altcoins are growing in value, right? Altcoins have been growing, but they're very slow. Where the difference here is that we look at this chart, when you're moving up here at this vivacious pace, this chart is also moving up. Whenever you're moving up here on this chart moves at a much faster pace than it had prior, right? This is important. If you're not catching on, let's try to catch on. We've been moving up this whole time. The average altcoin in the space, the reality is if you bought back in October of 2023 or earlier, you should be in the green. Unless you've been playing the game. If you've just been buying and holding, you should be in the green. And this whole time we've been moving up. Unlike these times here, this whole time we've been moving up in the altcoin markets, the alt to BTC pairing has gone down, right? Let's put it in other words, okay? In case I've lost some of you. This is important. Don't be like, I don't get it, this is dumb. No, like try to focus on this. This is gonna answer your question, right? The whole purpose of this video, right? The reason why you've watched this far is because you're trying to figure out when alt season. We're getting to it. It's already there, but we're getting to it. The average altcoin, this cycle, this is the others chart, right? Excluding the top 10 coins, this is your altcoin index, essentially. The average altcoin in the top 125 from their bear market lows to where they are now, they're up 360%. That's not bad. Everyone's saying this bull market's terrible, right? Now, don't get me wrong, 360% is nothing compared to what we've seen in prior bull markets, but the alt season hasn't even started yet. 360% right now. We have a 4.6x across the board. Okay? And we've done that while this pairing here, the altcoins versus Bitcoin, have been moving down. We've done that while dominance has been growing. What happens when we find our low? What happens? Right? You can see it. So the pace that we're at now is, say it with me, nothing. It's nothing in comparison to what it will be once we see growth versus Bitcoin, which is coming. How do we know it's coming? How is it that we could possibly know it's coming? Because here we are. Here we are, knocking on the gates. Here we freaking are. I can't imagine that when we get above this line, we're going to dilly-dally. No, we're going to break out. What happened when we got above this line? How fast of a pace did we actually, to be fair, we actually moved up at a very fast pace. And then we kind of slowed down. That's not a good example. You know, cut me some slack on that one. Last cycle was kind of lame, in all fairness. We don't have anything really to compare it to over here, and that's okay. But the point remains, okay, other than this bad example right here, maybe I should compare it more to like this line here. What happened once we got above that line? We broke out. This would actually be more in equivalence to what we saw here versus what we're doing here, right? Versus this. All I'm saying is the writing is on the wall. It's abundantly clear that while altcoins have still done a 4.6x this cycle, they have lost value versus Bitcoin. We have a moment. We have a large moment. We have several moments at the very least, if not at least one solid moment every cycle where altcoin dominance grows versus Bitcoin dominance. And in that phase, that is alt season. And we are clearly at that pace right now. I love Ben Cohen, man. I love Ben Cohen, but he is going to be, for the first time in a long time, he's going to be proven wrong. Bitcoin dominance is not going to go up. It's not going to happen. It's about to tank. Bitcoin dominance is about to S the bed. It's really about to crap the bed, you guys, and we're about to see this thing move down at the same pace that we saw last cycle, at the same pace that we saw the cycle before, and that is what really determines alt season as a whole, right? All these little things together. So I don't have anything else to say. In short, in summary, if you're wondering when alt season, why aren't my altcoins moving, my answer to you is soon, and be patient. Soon and be patient. Low point, we moved up. Low point here. Weekly RSI looks good, stochastics look good. The MACD is crossing above the zero. All good things. All good things all at once. We have bullish divergence on the MACD. No bullish divergence on anything else, but that's okay. We don't need it. Monthly time frame, refusing to get oversold. You're knocking on the doors of the 50. You're going to return up to the overbought zone. What happened these last two times the RSI made a run to the overbought zone here? That was literally the point at which this chart started to rally, both times. We're at that point now where we're breaking above the 50, where we're about to do that. We're going for the overbought zone. We're at that point now. Okay. Just be patient, have faith, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I wouldn't be surprised in the least if alt season started next week. Today's Sunday. It's the end of the week. So tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. The coming weeks until the end of this year. It's going to be fantastic. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.